Your voice, your opinion, your community. Fact TV, free speech protected.
Local news, politics, business, sports, arts, music. Mike and Marty on the feed.
Good morning, Bellows Falls and Keene, and welcome to the feed with Mike and Marty. Today we're here with Neil Allen and Ginger Driscoll, and we're going to be talking about Greater Falls Connection. But first, Marty with local events.
Local events. First of all, a huge shout out to all of the classes that participated in Alumni Weekend. Congratulations to the class of 2023 for entering the Alumni Association. Congratulations to all the alumni officers for yet another wonderful Alumni Weekend. A little bit of rain, a little bit of threat of rain during the parade, but everything went off well. So just a huge shout out to all the work that goes into that. At the Bellows Falls Opera House, we are continuing with The Flash. I was in the trustees meeting last night, and there's a lot of boom noises in The Flash. You could hear them downstairs, so I don't know what that tells you. Classic movie tonight is But I'm a Cheerleader. It's sponsored by the LGBT National Coming Out Support Hotline, and it's the continuation of the classic movie theme for this month, celebrating June Pride Month. So I watched the trailer, and it looks like it's an interesting movie. I'm going to try to watch the trailers on the classic movies if I'm not familiar with them. Happening this evening, in addition to the movie, is going to be the relocation of the Wyndham Hotel and the Andrews Inn marker. That's happening at 5 p.m., so you'll have time to go to that and then to go to the movie if you want to. I'm not exactly sure. I guess they're moving it out in front of the building. Is that? Do you know? I don't.
They're moving it to be more visible, but
I don't know where. I know. I was like hoping someone could help me out on that, but it's going to be more visible. I'm not sure where, but more visible. This Friday is the first of the farmers markets here in town. There's going to be doing one a month here at the Hetty Green Park. So June 23rd, July 11th, August 18th, and September 15th. So come and check them out. They're still looking for vendors. There's still vendor space. And then also happening on Friday, down at Stage 33, starting at 7 p.m., Gail Golick will be premiering her final installment of her deep dive into the history of Andrews Inn. Reservations are recommended, and I pulled this off of Facebook probably 2 or 3 days ago, so there might not be seats still available.
Saying you should get reservations by the 22nd.
Doesn't mean that you still can't listen to the podcast. It doesn't mean that you still can't support it. And actually, Gail's coming on in July. I don't have the calendar in front of me, but she's coming on to kind of go over. I'm excited about that. And I have one kind of last minute addition that I don't have an image on, but Keith Marks from Next Stage sent me information about the bandwagon happening this Saturday. It's down at the Putney Inn. They're actually going to have 2 bands. They're going to have a reggae band called the Human Rights, and they're going to have a 10-piece salsa orchestra called LPT. And I watched both of the videos for those, and I think if you have dancing shoes and you're looking to dance, then 6 p.m. at the Putney Inn is where you want to be for Next Stage Bandwagon Series. You can get tickets at the door, or you can get tickets at nextstagearts.org.
Great.
So,
well, thank you guys for coming on, and welcome. And why don't we start with you, Neil? Tell us a little about Greater Falls Connections. It's been around a while, but it's changing, isn't it? Or
so we've been around. I'm trying to remember the date. I think it was. No, I'm not going to guess. It's been a while. I know we'll be. It must have been 2006 because I think we're coming up on another anniversary soon. So it's been around, and there have been some changes, but it's still the same organization, and we still have the same goals and mission, which is to help the community with wellness and substance abuse prevention and community building.
Great. And Ginger, you have a new role, right? So
I do. So I had worked for Greater Falls Connections a couple years ago as an administrative assistant, and then I left. And I came back as an administrative assistant again, but with some additional roles like fundraising and development. But recently I just stepped into a new role as prevention specialist.
Oh, wow.
Still doing a little bit of the other things, but I'm really excited to engage in the community with this new role.
great. And what would you say? Oh, sorry. Go
I was
ahead.
just going to say, so I know that I was on your advisory board for a while, and I always found kind of the hardest thing for people to understand is really what is a public health coalition? What does that mean?
So public health is something we recently added to the website because, and our description of what we do, because it is what we do, but it wasn't there before, and it changes what that means. So our focus is on wellness and health, so that's the public health part. The coalition is, everybody who lives within this school district is a member of the coalition. And there's no sign-up sheet, there's nothing you have to do, you're just there. So, you can come to our event, you can come to our board meetings, our annual meeting, you can come and vote, but it basically means the whole community. If you support what we do, you're part of the coalition.
And you do a lot. I mean, and I think the key word to Greater Falls is the connections part. Can you talk a little bit about all of the things and agencies that you connect?
We do connect with a lot of the local agencies, and some of our key partners are Turning Point, which is located at Parks Place, and then there's we have the library. We collaborate with Parks Place, North Star. The list. If it's a public, social service agency, we pretty much connect with them. But we also have connections around the state with other coalitions, and then with the different or different kind of substance abuse things. So we have the tobacco group, and then we have like cannabis, and then there's the alcohol stuff. So we're connected locally through the county level, and then statewide.
And you guys are a great source of information. I know that when was it a year ago there was a cannabis, wasn't there a cannabis forum?
Yeah, it was
And
before
you guys-
I started, but I do know a little bit about it.
Yeah, and so it was nice that you had all the information, that you came to the forum and you had a lot of solid information to provide. And I think that's a key component for people to understand, is that you guys, this is what you do.
Right. So,
yeah.
we may not have all of the answers, but we hope to have the best answers that are available. And, sometimes, with all things, it changes. So the cannabis stuff, that stuff keeps changing. So it's just a matter of, keeping up with what's happening, and if there's something new, making sure the community is aware of it and things like that. But yeah, so that's the big part of what we do, is we provide resources and information so that people are aware of what's going on, what they can do, and things like that.
And the heart of what you do is with kids, right? The heart of it is targeted. Is that kind of like where your role really comes in as a prevention specialist, is helping, is reaching the kids to get to them before, before they becomes they have to go to Turning Point, I guess.
That's a huge part of prevention, yeah. And our focus is with youth and their families, youth, young adults, and their families. And we work with data-informed practices to bring, to make the connections with our partners, whether it's in the schools or youth groups or parents, to get them the tools they need to, prevent, but also to prevent further harm. We're not just saying hey, if you've never done anything, if you've never tried anything, you're ours. It's the whole community. And one of the things I kind of had an inkling of, but I'm finding more and more, is that all aspects of health, physical and mental, societal, really play a part in prevention.
Nice. You look
No,
great.
you hit me. You hit what I was going to ask. I was
Oh,
asking
sorry.
about that whole the child connection and where you go with that. How about in practical terms? What sort of things do you do? Like I know in this building years ago, we did the whole free non-smoking zone, and we had signs, and you guys provided all the signs and helped us work through the whole thing. Are there programs like that you do, or how does that work?
We don't really do programs as you would probably normally think of them. So like the non-smoking stuff, or no smoking stuff, isn't so much a program as it is just a part of the work that we do, and we can provide businesses, landlords, anybody with information on how to make your area a non-smoking area, and then help support that as it goes on. It's been more of I think it's more of an issue when it's a bigger company where you have a lot of people who, don't want to give up their smoking, and so helping them work through the process with their employees to get to a point where there is less smoking in the building area. So yeah, we do a lot of that kind of thing. So like I said, it's the resources and the information, and that's what we provide.
And also being the objective, or like you have no skin in the game, right? When you go in, so then coming from that third party, I think when you're dealing with, if it's the employer saying to the employee, yeah, you can't smoke, then then you come in as a third party, and it probably goes a little smoother.
And it's
theoretically,
it's not about necessarily eliminating the smoking, but we can also provide the organization with quit kits and other things to help their employees, actually give up the smoking. So basically, again, just tools to make everything easier. And so it's not about the elimination necessarily. I mean, we'd love it if nobody smoked.
Right.
It would be fantastic, but that's an unrealistic thing. So it's kind of the no harm thing where, you want to protect the most people, but you still have to be respectful of these folks and where they are. So it's, how can we get into the middle?
Does that kind of tie into what you were saying with your prevention work?
Yeah, it does. It is that a lot of what prevention work is finding out what problems people are seeing, what resources they're looking for, and helping them with the knowledge that we have about what resources are out there. So the quit kits are a great example of that. If somebody is looking to change their workplace, the quit kits can be really helpful. If an individual is looking to change their individual space, and those signs you mentioned have signs and know where to get them if I run out. And I have a ton of pamphlets. If you want to just have something that's out there in your place of business or, studio, whatever, that has various facts about quitting, that has information about what our partners and other orgs like 802 Quits. I've got so much of their info and that kind of thing. Yeah.
And then, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, you mentioned as we were coming in that you got an order of Narcan in, and I was wondering how that plays into what you're doing, and that's really important now, isn't it?
It's really important. So Narcan, for people who don't know, is a way to stop an overdose of an opioid while it's happening. And having it available to people so that they have it on hand can turn a tragedy into an emergency.
Yes.
It's an option to give somebody another chance to make a change in their life instead of losing their life. And one of the things that I do is I have the resources to bring it in, and then I know who's looking for it, or I can check out with who's looking for it. Yeah.
Because I guess the most important thing with Narcan is it's an amazing thing, but it's not any good if it's not there when you need it.
Exactly.
And that's the real difficult part is getting it there so that, because it does save lives. It's amazing.
Yeah, and we can also connect people or organizations with organizations that do the Narcan training. That's one of the steps that's on my to-do list right now for a specific place. I need to get them in touch with somebody for the Narcan training so that on another level, not only do we have the actual thing in the community, but we also have people who know how to use it and feel confident about using it. It's really easy.
No, okay. Yeah,
It is. It's a super easy thing, but if in the moment, it's like, oh my God, this person is like, in front of me, and having that and practicing it.
Yeah, I haven't had to do it yet.
And and the community can come into Parks Place and visit us and pick up Narcan as well. It's not just for our community partners. It's for anybody in the community. So if you want to stop in and you need a couple boxes just to make sure you have it, you can stop in and we'd be happy to see you. We want people coming in and seeing us and getting to know the community better. So, yeah.
Well, speaking of getting to know the community better and people coming in to see, don't you have a big event coming up, right?
Yes. So we have our annual meeting and our community potluck barbecue. It's on June 28th from 6 to 7:30 at the Rockingham Rec Center. Basically, we bring the meat stuff, so we're going to have hamburgers, hot dogs, and then several vegan options. And we bring the drinks and stuff, and then the communities can come, and if they could bring a side dish or dessert, that would be fantastic. It's not a requirement, but it would be fantastic. So we do the barbecue thing first, and then we have our annual meeting. At the meeting, we kind of talk about, what's been going on in over the last year, what kind of things we're looking at doing in the coming year, and then we vote in the officers for the advisory board. And then this year, we're changing our mission and vision statements, as well as the advisory board bylaws. So we need to have community members there as our coalition members to vote on those. So, and we're going to be giving away some door prizes as well.
Ooh.
And it's
So
free.
wait a minute, free food and
I know, I was gonna say,
prizes.
free food and prizes. What more could
Come
you
on,
want?
what else can you ask for?
Can you speak a little bit about how your advisory board works? And I know that you're probably always looking for more bodies on the advisory board.
Yeah,
so.
we have a very small advisory board at the moment, and we'd very much like to change that. So it's a super simple thing. We have one meeting a month. It's the second Monday of the month at 5:30 over at Parks Place. And you just come and you help advise about Greater Falls. And there's really no major responsibilities or anything. But it's just so we can hear from the community and have that input and support. So usually at a meeting, I share about what's been going on with our programs, if something new is happening, if something is changing. We talk about if we're doing events, so like we have the event. The advisory board's not like hugely involved in the planning of this, but they need to know
Right.
all the details and everything. So we go over those things, and occasionally you have to come in and volunteer when we're at events, like when we go to the Flannel Festival. It's nice to have board members there so that the staff isn't doing all of the work of that long 2-day weekend.
Yeah, that's a big commitment up there. Yeah.
I was there both days, all day last year, and it's great. You get to have fun and meet people, but also it's a very long time. So having members of the advisory board there is amazing. So yeah, it's super simple. If you're interested, you can just reach out to me at Parks Place. And yeah.
And I think, ideally, well, first of all, you have a unique board because you have youth on your board.
Yes. So that's one of the things that has been for several years now, a thing where they wanted to have youth on the board because there's a phrase in prevention, nothing for us without us. And since we're focused on primarily youth and young adults and their families, we need to have some youth there. It's good leadership training and lots of things like that. Currently, we don't have anybody, so if there are any youth out there who are interested in learning more about being on a board and the prevention work that we do, that would be spectacular. Again, you can just reach out to me about that. So yeah, so the youth is, and we haven't had one before, and it's something that's on our plate for the upcoming year is to create an advisory board for youth. And that way,
would be just composed of
that
youth?
would just be
Oh,
youth.
interesting, yeah.
Most of the coalitions have something like that. But again, it's nothing for us without us. So it's a really important thing, and it's not been something that's been able to be done before. But I think we need to have that focus.
So are these issues things that you will focus on at the barbecue in the annual meeting? Are those these the
There'll
the
be things that
items?
we can talk about. Yeah.
Yeah. So
With-
that people
the
can
coming
give
in,
input.
yeah,
Yeah.
for the coming year. And so the other thing we're going to be looking at, we had a retreat last November where we kind of identified like 15 different things that the advisory board and staff wanted to see happening. And so this year, we're at our retreat, we're going to look at what's there, identify what we want to work on, and then start having those community meetings where everybody's invited to come in and share and help us know what direction we should be taking. We have great ideas, we think, but without
true.
the community's
Right.
input, we don't know if anybody else agrees with that.
The full knowledge lies within the full community.
Right.
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 Yes.
So, and we'll have a survey going out that'll, if you can't come to the community meetings, we'll have a survey which will be available on our website, on Facebook, and all those places, but not yet. That'll be
That's coming.
Yeah.
in like January, probably.
TBD, to be determined.
Yes.
I have to. I just have to interject that if someone's thinking about doing service with some kind of board, I think your board is a good board to start with, because sometimes you can get overwhelmed depending on what board you get on. And I think it's fun. It's interesting. It's not just listening to reports about whatever, but it's an interesting board, and it's a low entry commitment level.
Yes.
Like some boards, you have a pretty high commitment level. So I would encourage people, and I'm guessing that you ideally would like to have like every representation from every group that you serve in every area too. Not so if someone doesn't live in Bells Falls, they can certainly think that's a
So if you're in Saxons River or Westminster or any of the towns in the school district, you're welcome to be on the board. We're looking for, we have someone from the library, we have a state representative, we have someone from prevention, and then we have a community member who is business. So there's lots of room for lots of different people. So, if you're a mom who, feels strongly about prevention, give me a call. Like I said, it's a once a month commitment, except for the annual meeting. That month there might be 2 meetings. Not annual meeting, the board retreat. But yeah, we're very low key. We loosely follow Robert's rules just because they're really good for, moving
You have
things
to have some
forward.
kind of
And you have to have some kind of a backbone
Structure,
to fall
yeah,
back on.
yeah.
But it's very informal. We have a lot of fun at the meetings. There's lots of laughter, and it's a good time. And it's nice to have that closeness. So like with the advisory board meeting from board member for prevention is Tomas O'Flattery. And He also ended up then also being kind of the religious aspect too, because he's a Buddhist monk. But he's great, and he's like my person that I can go to if ever I need to talk about what's going on the board, or not the board, in the organization with myself or whatever. So it's nice having that advisory board there and those people to kind of give that kind of behind the scenes support as well.
So we are, I don't mean to cut you off, but we are, believe it or not, almost out of time.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
So let's just finish with how can they best contact you?
All right. The best way to contact us is by calling Parks Place at, what is their number?
It's right up there.
Yep, there we
got
go.
you first. Yeah, we try to be prepared here.
Yeah, so you can reach out to us through our website. We have, you can contact us there. You can give us a call. We're there Monday through Friday most of the time. So.
And Ginger, you said that you could just stop by your office, the Narcan, if people are looking for Narcan.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
And one of us will probably be there during normal office hours. And also on that website is a great opportunity to donate if you're so
Oh,
there
great.
you're so
That's
moved.
always
Yes, the donate button.
Yeah.
Hit donate. All right, we'll end with donate.
All right, and with donate. That's it for this week.
Thank you, community.
And we had some sort of Matrix meltdown in the
In the
background.
yeah.
but
We're now
other than
we're
that,
now
we're
in
doing
Boardhouse
great.
where we
See
are.
you next week, Bellows Falls. Bye.
We left Bellows Falls.